Hi, everyone. This is Jennifer. I'm here with my partners, Cindy and Edmund from Amity Law Group. Today, we'd like to talk a little bit about issues and problems that seniors face. So a few years ago, our firm was part of Educating Seniors, which was a program that was started by the California Bar, the Bar Association. And so we were given a lot of information about what seniors really face. As they get older, people tend to take advantage of them, unfortunately. And so today we'd like to kind of delve into that situation and talk about common scenarios and solutions that we see could be beneficial. And so this could apply to, seniors who are living on their own, seniors who may be living with family members, but a lot of times, they might have a lot of alone time, especially if their family members are working full time. And so, one thing that I personally have heard about in the past few days was a situation where a senior, she spouse has already passed away, so she's a widower, no kids, owns and lives in her primary residence. And so, the house is owned free and clear, there's no mortgage. Thinking about, just the aging process and maybe financially what she will need to basically sustain her life, and thinking about maybe doing a reverse mortgage or, something to do with the house. And so, unfortunately, the story is that her relative approached her and suggested that, hey, your house is worth $1 million, but I have about $200,000 cash on hand. I will pay you that cash if you basically deed over the house to me, but I'll promise that you have a life estate, so you have the right to occupy this residence for your lifetime. And that just is not right. So $1 million house, she's not selling it, but he's gonna basically obtain it for less than what the house is worth. And so that's just a red flag. So today we'd like to talk about these common scenarios that seniors face and what solutions and what are the things that you can tell your family member or just to watch out for. So Edmund, can you talk about other common scenarios?
Yeah, so here are some of the really common scenarios when it comes to elder financial abuse in the family. And by the way, sometimes it feels like family members are entitled to use your parents, your grandparents' money, but without the permission, it's a criminal offense. You can be prosecuted for it, and so it's fraud, it's theft, it's criminal. So please make sure that if this happens in your family, stop it because it is a very serious offense. So here are some of the very common scenarios that we see when it comes to financial abuse of elders. And the first one is writing their own checks. So a child, a grandchild, writing their parents or grandparents, using their checks to write checks to themselves and cashing it out. Can't do that. Another common scenario that's related, using your parent or your grandparent's ATM card without their permission. That's a federal offense. So you can't do that either. Another common scenario could be pressuring your parent or your grandparent into paying your expenses. There's a thing called undue influence in the law, and you can get in trouble for unduly influencing your parents or your grandparents. So pressuring them to give you money, threatening them to give you money. I know that in the Chinese culture, Asian culture, we like to express ourselves. We like to argue and we like to raise our voices. Well, if you do that and you try to pressure your parents to give you money, that can be potentially a criminal offense. So if you see that in the family, make sure you report it. Another common scenario is transferring your parents' house to yourself or seeing someone do that and then kicking out the parent once the parent transfers the house to the child. That's also very common because especially in the Asian community, parents love to transfer their house to their kids and or put their children's house on the deed so that they don't have to do a will or they don't have to do a living trust. Unfortunately, there's a lot of undue influence there as well. So if you see that in your community, if you see that in your family, watch out for that and make sure you do something about it, because the child is effectively stealing the parent or the grandparent's house, which is a criminal offense. Another common scenario, transferring or cashing out retirement funds to pay for the child's down payment on a house or their lifestyle. You can't do that either. And finally, there's a lot of reverse mortgage scams. Just like what Jennifer mentioned earlier, a lot of elders, they would transfer their house away to someone in the family in exchange for a reverse mortgage, and you can't do that. At the end of the day, if any of these scenarios sound familiar, or it's happening in your family or your community, you have to do something about it. Please step up and really protect elders, because they're the most vulnerable in our community. So Cindy, can you give them some of the solutions as to how they can help seniors in these specific situations?
Yeah, definitely. Because our society recognizes that seniors are vulnerable and could be a victim to these very prolific situations, and it does definitely happen a lot. We have organizations and people in place to address these issues. So first thing is contact your local law enforcement. If this is happening and you want an immediate stop to it, you want to make sure that the bank is frozen, and you want to make sure that the funds are safeguarded. So the number one thing is to get it done immediately, and that's by contacting the police, your local law enforcement. Some of the organizations that are set up to help in these type of scenarios in particular is Adult Protective Services. So when they get a complaint, they will launch an investigation. They take their jobs very seriously, and they will visit the senior and will make contact with whoever that is being suspected of taking advantage of the senior. So they're gonna launch their investigation and do their due diligence, and they've got procedures and guidelines in place to make sure that this wrong is right. There's some elder care helpline that you could contact. There's a VictimConnect hotline as well. So some of these things can be done anonymously, but it's there. It's available for you to speak up for the senior citizen who isn't necessarily aware that it's happening to them. Another solution is you want to talk to a professional. Maybe take your senior to a professional for a non-biased opinion. Get a second opinion, get a third opinion. So it doesn't hurt, to get some additional help, especially if there's an expert that you can seek for advice on whatever it is that your senior is trying to get accomplished. And you want to do so with sources you can trust, sources that are non-biased, that's not going to benefit at all from whatever the decision that needs to be made, and sources that are educated in the area. Lastly, set up a living trust and a power of attorney and a healthcare directive and a will. Help them set up their estate plan so that they are aware and know what the plan is. They've got it in writing, and everyone around them knows that this estate plan exists, so that people aren't going to try and skirt skirt around the documents or try and create other documents or, do whatever, pull other types of nonsense. So yeah, it's really important. It's really important to have something set up, such as an estate plan.
All right, so that's it for this video. As myself, Cindy, and Edmund have said, please, feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help. We're here to be your non-biased opinion, to help you, guide you through certain scenarios and, give you proper advice. And so hopefully, this video will be helpful to you. Feel free to reach out to us. We offer free consultations, and that's it for today.